Choices, choices. Which resin printer are you going to choose? Well, join me today as I talk about the Photon Mono X and Elegoo Saturn S. Which one is my favorite? See you guys inside. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. As I said from this intro, we're going to talk about the Photon Mono X versus the Elegoo Saturn S. Both printers are in my shop. I use them both. And I want to talk about their functionality. Both printers come, if you want to see the unboxing videos, they're out there. They'll be up here in cards in a moment. But they are good printers. And they both come around the $400 to $500 price mark right now, as the new versions like the Photon M3 and the Elegoo Saturn S is still the top guy over there for Elegoo. But they are sharp printers. They are good resin printers. Both of them come in with that 9-inch build plate, which is fantastic. It lets you print a very good size, where a lot of the older printers, you only had that 6-inch build plate, which was great for minis and all that kind of stuff, but not that great for printing bigger, more detailed stuff. Where the Photon Mono X and the Saturn both kind of ruled that game with that bigger build plate. And now they're getting even replaced with new 13-inch build plates with the Saturn M3, or the M3 Max, and Frozen has their big boy with that 13-inch build plate. Don't worry guys, I do have an M3 Max on order. It just has not arrived yet. We will take a look at that one in here too, because 13-inch build plate, drooling. But it's one of those things, resin printers, you got to find the one that's right for you. And it depends on what you're doing with that resin printer. If you're just doing a couple minis, look at the 6-inch. Save yourself some money. Look at the Halot 1. Look at the Voxlab Proxima. Save yourself the money if you're just wanting to do a few miniatures. But if you're wanting to go bigger, the Photon Mono X and the Saturn S are where you need to look. Now granted, they're now the midline with the 9-inch build plate, because now we've got the 13. But both of them, the packing's really well. The printers are relatively easy to set up. You want to see initial setups, go check out those videos where I unboxed them. But after the unboxing, doing the test print, everything goes great with both of them, right? Well, not so true. The Saturn S settings that come in Shinto box are pretty much spot on. They worked really well for me right out of the bat, and I was off to the races printing. Photon Mono X settings that come with the printer, garbage. Complete garbage. Tons of time surfing Reddit and that to find settings that work really well. So getting the printer up and running, great. Now, would I recommend these as your first printer? No, not. The 6-inch is a great way to learn, less cleanup, smaller area and that, but if you're going to start out, the Photon Mono X and the Saturn S are not bad. And when we get to the end of this video is when I'm going to tell you which one I would choose if I had to buy another one. So as we continue on through this, if you guys are enjoying this content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button to let us know this video is getting out there. Even if you disagree with me, it's just kind of one of those things. This is my opinion, and from me using both printers. I have both in my shop and I use them quite a bit. And I've used them quite a bit. I've had to replace their FEPs. I've had to replace the LCD on the Photon Mono X because, oops, I was stupid. And if you got questions about these printers, because the whole reason why I'm making this video is because I get this question, Photon Mono X or Saturn S. I get the question. Now, looking at the original Photon Mono X, which is the one I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the 4K, I'm not talking about the 6K, I'm talking about the Photon Mono X. Your resolution's lower than the Saturn S on the LCD, which means not as fine detail as well. When you get up to that 4K and the 6K versions, you're coming in tight to the Saturn S resolution, which is very much a 4K resolution. So the fair comparison would be the Mono X 4K, but I don't have that one. I have the Photon Mono X. And you know, when I talk about that, the Saturn S resolution is 4098 by 2560, which, looking at that, the Photon Mono X is lower than that, I think at like 2560 and 38 something. So it is not as sharp on the LCD, giving you that sharp print. So the Saturn S does do very good in that realm. So keep that in mind. Detail is king when we're doing these prints, guys. So usability, 9-inch build plates, both of them, same size build plate. Leveling system is a bit different between the two. Elegoo has a single point with 2 bolt, that their standard type build. I don't like that one as much as I like the Photon Mono's 4 bolt leveling method, leveling on its build plate. But let's break this down a little bit. Costs for the machines, they're both around $500. LCD protectors, please buy them. You will love yourself, especially if that FET breaks and that gets on your LCD. You just peel it off, slap another one, and you're back to printing. It's fantastic. So usability, right out of the gate, the Saturn S wins. It just wins. The settings that come with Shinto box and stuff like that work really well. Where the Photon Mono X, I had to dig for settings. And it changes for every resin I use. And I use the Anycubic Standard Basic for that one. And for the Saturn S, I use the Elegoo Standard Resin. So both work really well right out of the gates. They're using their own vendor resins. Speed. The Saturn S takes a little bit longer. And for good reason. It's getting a sharper build with that sharper LCD, so a little bit extra time doesn't bother me. The other thing that the Saturn S won with me is the USB air filter that came with it. You plug it right in, it's charcoal based, it's cleaning your air, and it's giving you a really good clean surrounding. Where the Photon Mono X, there's no charcoal filtering. You have to add that on later. So kind of keep that in mind. I don't use the Wi-Fi methods on each, but I believe both of them have it. What else here? I like the red of the Elegoo Saturn, I'll be honest. I like the build of the box, the way it's done, and noise. The Saturn S the Saturn S is quieter than the Photon Mono X in my opinion. The stepper motor is quieter and the fans are quieter. It's a very quiet machine. Sometimes I gotta go check that it's even running, especially when that stepper motor is going and you're hearing the ear of the other one raising up and down. And I've replaced the stepper motor and still does it. So, but neither one of them is as worse as the Proxima is. My Proxima is loud. And it was like that straight out of the box, which is disappointing. So there's a lot of good things, a lot of bad things on both. If I was new getting into 3D printing, here comes the answer that we've all been waiting for. Which one would I buy? In all honesty, out of both of them, if they're both at that $500 area price mark, buy the Saturn S. You're getting sharper LCD, a very quiet machine. You're getting the air filter with it, which is really cool. Honestly, I've had to work with Anycubic and Elegoo support. Elegoo support just blew me out of the water, even though Anycubic, while they took longer, did send me replacement parts and different things like that as well. But Elegoo was, I mean, they were Anycubic. They took their time and we had to ballpark around. So the Saturn S is the winner for me. Sharper resolution also helps, but also the settings coming with the software and stuff right out of the box, allowing me to get good prints is key. Because no one wants a failed resin print. It sucks when they fail because you got to drain the beige, you got to get everything cleaned up, and then start fresh hoping you got it. And it can get really annoying when you have a lot of failures. Believe me, that Photon Mono X tried my patience and almost went up in the trash can until I got my settings right. And if you're curious about settings, definitely let me know. I can share a screenshot of those settings. But this is just commentary about these two printers. That's all this is. And one of the things I do recommend putting underneath your printer, these are cheap, guys, and they're great. Silicone mats. They got some elasticity to them, but if that resin gets on them and dries, it'll come right off. It won't hurt your tables. Definitely worth it. Link down in the description below. Great thing to have on there. But also, the detail is in the ship. And you guys can see, the light's probably going to wash some of this out. You can see the difference in detail. So, was A the Saturn? Or was B the Saturn? Which one was the Photon X? Which one was the Saturn? You tell me. Comments. Leave them down below and let me know which one it is. And in a week or so, actually tell you what, next Tuesday on stream, I'll tell you which one it is if you join us. So, With that, guys, if you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you taking a look at the video, getting my feedback on these two printers. Links to these printers are in the description down below, and their newer models, especially on the Anycubic side with the new M3 models coming out. Anycubic's catching up to the game. So, but still, the Saturn S is awesome. So I'm going to throw my card in over there. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will see you next week.